Every few months, we get to a set where there is an insanely hyped up deck that is a fan favorite, you know, that we all know is a fan favorite from the TCG, and I know it's going to be a fan favorite in Zero as well. And then every single deck and fight and every single video I upload throughout that period until that deck comes out, we'll have comments asking for that specific deck. And we have once again reached that point where I have to say this in the intro. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Here is your long-awaited, this time, Diablo deck and fight. Now, I like to be honest with my community. I like to be honest, and I don't like to, you know, like sugarcoat things and kind of like bait you, especially in Zero when, you know, this kind of thing can lead to people spending money for no reason. Currently, there are in set 4, there are 3 competitively viable or like played Shadow Paladin decks. And honestly, after set 4, I almost want to say that pure Diablo is the worst one. Yeah, I don't feel good saying that, but it feels weird. As a TCG player, that's not correct. Like, Diablo was a menace, Diablo made people fear Shadows as a whole, but somehow it's such a soft, like, it's like a wet noodle, you know. It doesn't do much in Zero. Like, it's still fine, but it's very fair. Like, you know, we're used to Shadows being at least a little bit unfair, you know, doing at least something, right? You know, it's like whether it's Revengers doing stuff unfair, or whether it's, you know, Claret playing 9 crit and getting away with it because they overdraw even with 9 crit, you know. Whereas like Diablo is kind of in between them, but it's like in between the two spectrums, which means it's not on the strong side of either, and then we run into this situation. Alright guys, welcome. Let's take a look at Diablo, right? We're still gonna make the most of it. Even though I say it's a very fair deck, it's still strong in its own right, you know. It's still strong in its own right, it still carries its weight, but compared to the other things that are available for Shadows, I would say that this is probably the most lacking one. And yes, this one is set 4 because, you know, I'd rather give you a set 4 list, because this way it's also updated for the month after this. If you're playing in set 3, virtually the cards the only cards you play that are not in set 3 is the Death Spray Dragon, which you can play literally any other grade 3 for, like whether it's a strong rearguard, or you can play a crit if you want to, or like some trigger. It's perfectly fine. And also for your G-Zone lineup, you don't have Aura Geyser Doomed, so you can play 2 Aura Geysers and a Grim Recruiter, as well as a Harmonics Messiah, right? So something like that. But I'm gonna be also real with you. You see these 4 Phantom Blaster Diablos? If you're playing pure Diablos, you're gonna need 4. If you're playing Revengers or Claret, 2 is fine. 2 is fine there, but if you're playing Diablo, you're gonna need 4, because there's no other win con in this deck, basically, outside of, like, Doomed, I guess. So let's go over the deck, right? First things first, we have the main grade 3, which is Blaster Dark Diablo. A lot of people's, like, this was a lot of people's first competitive deck, because the Legend deck that came out for in the early G period, you know, with the Diablo deck it gave you a very competitively viable deck right out the box. So Blaster Dark Diablo, he keeps most of his skills actually. He says GB2, when you stride a Blaster G unit, there's only one for now, but there will be more in the future. He says, when you would pay the cost for stride, every card in your hand gets grade +3. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, because that means you can even ditch a grade 0 to stride, which is pretty nice, right? Pretty nice. Of course, we don't do that in Zero because they're heals, and we want to keep them in hand. And then he says, when you stride into Phantom Blaster Diablo specifically, you can choose an opponent's rearguard and retire it for free. That is good. That is good, except that we only really stride Phantom Blaster Diablo twice per game, so you only get 2 of those free retires per game. And of course, when placed on Vanguard Circle, he gets +3k as well, which is very good. Now, this deck, I can already tell you right now, you go through a lot of it very quickly. You draw a lot of it, you plus quite a bit, you can Superior Call, Aura Geyser pluses, you know, both of them plus. And so in order to not deck out, as I'm hinting towards that, we still want to run Claret. So Claret, the GB2 isn't super amazing. It says once per turn, you can retire 2 of your rearguards to get +10k and a crit, but his stride skill is pretty nice, actually. He says, when you stride over him, you can counterblast 1 and choose any number of grade 1s from your drop zone that are not sentinels and put them back to your deck. And then you search your deck for a grade 1 or lower and call it, and give the unit +2k. So this is basically a card we want to ride after we've, like, if we've Diabloed our opponent twice and the Blaster Dark Diablo is literally not doing anything anymore, you can rewrite it to Claret and then stride just to put your grade 1s back into the deck to make sure you don't deck out, because trust me, you do deck out in Claret as well as in Diablo. Like, these are the 2 decks, because they don't have Legion, they, you know, unlike Revengers, you do need to kind of rely on Claret at least a certain point in the game to sustain. So I think running 4 Claret is fine as a backup, and then I play 1 Death Spray because he has a pretty okay rearguard circle effect. GB1, when he attacks the Vanguard at the end end of that battle, -1, retire one of your rearguards to choose an opponent's rearguard and retire it. So we're not going to really make use of this too much, but they can come up in fringe situations, and so for that reason I think it's okay to have. So that's basically the grade 3s, and then of course Heal Guardians because they are good cards. The starter is going to be David. David says GB1, when this unit is retired as a cost, you can count him as 2 units. So that's nice because that means Orgeyser retires 2, and you can just target David and that's it. And of course, he cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects. Then for grade 1s, of course, countercharging PGs goes without saying. Stride Fodders you can technically cut down on actually, because you are not paying as much like for Stride when you're striding into a Blaster G unit, but still for your first Orgeyser Stride, you're going to need to discard a grade 3, right? So whether it's a grade 3 from hand or Stride Fodder, you can choose. You can reduce the amount of Stride Fodders you play in order to play something like a Trumpeter. So I was testing Trumpeter before, and there's actually like a nice thing you can do with Trumpeter where you use Maka. I'll go over Maka later, but Maka can call a grade 1 basically mid-battle, and you can call out the new Trumpeter, which is a Soul Blast 1 if you have a Blaster Vanguard to call out another grade 1, and then you call out this Eagle. This Eagle says GB1 when placed in rearguard circle, it gets plus 4k, so it's an 11k attacker on its own. So with the Trumpeter they make an 18k column, which is pretty good, right? It hits over a defensive, or if they're at 5, you know, they're just going for, you know, just hitting for damage, right? We always like that. So you can reduce the amount of Stride Fodders, but for safety's sake, I still prefer to run 4. And then of course, this one I think you definitely should run at 4, which is the Karen. Karen says when placed from hand, you can discard 1 to search your deck for a Blaster Dart grade 3 and add it to your hand. So much like how the Stride Fodders search out the Stride Bearers like Claret and Gurgwit, etc., this searches out the Blaster Stride Bearer. So it's pretty important to have. And when this unit would be retired as a cost, you know, as a rear guard, if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Blaster, it counts as 2 units. So it's much like David, where, like for example, if you're retiring for Final Blast or Diablo, you're going to retire a Karen plus 1 card, and there you go, you fulfill the conditions. So that's also pretty good. So that's the grade 1s. Then for grade 2s, again, we have Maka. She's the Amber clone. GB1 rearguard circle, when she attacks the Vanguard, if she's being boosted, count +1, search your deck for a grade 1 and call it. So the reason why I cut down on the Trumpeter is because I basically just want to call out the Eagle with this, and then I'm like, because usually you're going to swing rears unboosted, right? So then like when you swing with her boosted, you just like, you call the Eagle in front of a standing back row rearguard anyway, right? Which is going to be taking the trigger power to make sure that it's actually hitting for, you know, if their opponent's at like 21 or something, right? So Maka's your only form of multi-attack in this deck, and I think that when your opponent's at 5, like there will be times when you just kind of go into it, especially because Orgeyser are doomed. Like when they're at 5, the crit is nice, but you don't really care about it. The retire happens in main phase too, so you can kind of just like swing and rear. So that's something to consider. I play 2 12k attackers just because sometimes resources run low. It's not bad to have. GB1 when attacks Vanguard plus 3k, sorry. So it's a 12k attacker. 3 of the Nemains because she's still a great early game card. And the retire in this deck is generic, so we can retire non-Revengers, of course, for all the costs. But she's when placed on rearguard circle, count +1. You discard 1 and draw 2. You know, good filter. And then of course we counterboss quite a lot in this deck, so we play 4 Curse Lancer. It's a good generic countercharge, and that's all there is to it. So that is all of the main deck. Now let's go over the G-Zone. Our first stride is still going to be always the Orgeyser Dragon. When you attack the Vanguard with him, count +1 and G Persona Blast, and retire 2 of your rearguards to reveal the top 2 cards of your deck and add them to your hand. For that turn, for every revealed grade 1 or lower, he gets plus 5k. So your opponent gets to know it's in your hand, but as a result, you +2, which is, I mean, or +1, I guess, because you're retiring. I mean, technically it's equal because you're retiring 2, but if you retire David or Karen, then it's +1. It's pretty good. You know, always more cards to hand is always great, but what makes this even better is Orgeyser Doomed. So this is a new addition in set 4, which says GB2 once per turn, count +1 and flip any G unit face up. That's different from the TCG, and retire 3 of your rearguards. So again, the Karens and the Davids are pretty handy here, but his skill is GB2, so we cannot first stride Doomed. In the TCG, we could first stride Doomed. We cannot do that in 0. So then he says, after you pay that cost, you reveal the top 2 cards of your deck and add them to your hand. If you have at least 1 face-up Orgeyser Dragon in your G-Zone, and for every grade 1 or lower card revealed by this effect, you choose an opponent's rearguard and retire it. And if you have 3 or more Orgeyser Dragons face up in your G-Zone, then he also gets a crit. The phrasing in this is actually very confusing because it says, if you have 1 or more Orgeyser Dragons face up, then for every grade 1 or lower revealed card, you retire an opponent's front row. And then it says, if 3 or more, then he gets a crit. So it sounds like it's asking for 3 or more revealed grade 1s in the way that it's phrased in Japanese, and a lot of Japanese like content creators have actually joked about this, but actually it's referring to the amount of Orgeysers. So that's why you first stride Orgeyser, have 2 face up, and then you stride into this, you flip face up the third one, that way he gets the crit and the retire skill, which you can pop intercepts with, and then, you know, just go ham on your opponent's face, use Maka to multi-attack and stuff like that. So you can attack with a crit while you're on 4, they PG it, and then you can swing with the rear guard column, then swing with the Maka, call out the grade 1 that gets +4, and there you go. And then of course the main highlight of the deck is Phantom Blaster Diablo. So he has GB2, sorry, not GB1, GB2 once per turn, Calmos 1, and G Persona Blast. This has to be paid in the main phase, don't forget it, to give him +10k and a crit. So he gets +10k and a crit just for CB1 Persona, right? You don't have to do anything else for just that, but then when he attacks the Vanguard, you may retire 3 of your rear guards, and if you do, if your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, then for that battle when your opponent with Perfect Guard or Sentinel, they have to randomly discard a grade 3 or greater, otherwise they cannot Sentinel. However, if your opponent has 2 or more rear guards when you pay this cost, then you can choose 2 of your opponent's rear guards and retire them. So this skill is very different from what it was in the TCG. In the TCG, basically said you attack and your opponent chooses, I think, well, was it 3 or 2 of their rear guards and retires them, and if they cannot guard. Like straight up they cannot guard, or at least normal guard from, you know, they can't guard from hand, so they could still G guard later on. But this card came out before G guards were a thing, so that was obviously a very dominant stride. You know, it's still very cool looking, it's still a very good card, but definitely, you know, as the legendary Cold Ones channel would say, it fell off. So anyway, I'm gonna do you guys a favor. Yeah, I know everyone, you know, I like Toya. Toya is a cool guy, very relatable, but it's a Diablo deck. There's no G era Ren skin yet, but we can run around with good old, you know, Break Ride era Ren with this Diablo deck. So let's take a spin for a couple games. I took very long to explain this deck. I don't know why that took so long. I think it's just because there's a lot of, you know, just a lot of like things to go over, I guess, because it's also a lot of people's favorite deck. You know, a lot of people are really looking forward to this, and I think it's good that Game Studio balanced it out. Like, I think leaving the Diablo stride unbalanced, like unchecked, would have definitely like led to complete chaos and disaster in the game. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's a little bit over nerfed. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think the Diablos are over nerfed? Do you think it's just right? Let me know what you think. Okay, so here we're going first. That means we can like ride this and then call this whenever we need to get the Blaster Diablo out, and we can ride the Curse Lancer to CC after we use the main. So we just put the heal back here. The grade 3 will come naturally. The heal also came naturally apparently, and going first we will have the CB for the main as well, which is pretty good. Now to think about where I want to call the starter to. Okay, Blaster Diablo has been found, so no problems there. I think we can keep the Stride Fodder in hand in that case. I'm thinking about where I want to call down the, where I want to make the main column and where I want to make the Curse Lancer column, because the main will, technically Curse Lancer can attack first, but then the main's going to be 9k. We can make it 12, I guess, if we put a 7k behind her. So we'll put the David behind Vanguard. It's actually a fine placement for it too. So we're going to just pass on that, and then basically our opponent is going to probably give us 1 damage here. And then we can use the main. The main discarding what though? I'm actually not sure, because everything in my hand is pretty good right now. Karen obviously is very important. Stride Fodder is pretty important. Maybe we'll draw into something else here. He whips a heal, which is pretty good, but it's probably the cross, so it's gonna, chances are, Legion them back. So that's not something I'm too surprised by. Ooh, the draw comes out, give us a Stride Fodder. That's discardable. Ooh, that's definitely discardable. Okay, I think the Stride Fodder is a bit more discardable. I have enough grade 1s in hand for the time being. We have to ride Curse Lancer first. So this way we can draw cards and also like convert them out as well. You might be wondering why I'm not playing crits in this deck, and that's because like even though you have so much draw power, like you kill your own units way more than it feels like way more than the other Shadow deck too as a result. We can just kind of go for this. So this way we hit with the Vanguard, hit with the Curse Lancer, and then we get to you know, like if he doesn't hit a defensive, we got to countercharge, and now we still get to hit the second time because we're just swinging with 12. So that's pretty good. We have a counter loss for next turn, especially if we get another main or something to draw more cards, which we always like, you know. Drawing cards is good, just like zooming in on my face not too much is also good, you know. Okay, so 10k vanilla is fine, especially because I'm going first. If I was going second, that might actually be a little bit tricky, but luckily for us, that's not a problem. All right. Gonna use the Conroe, take a PG, that's expected, you know. There's some players that really wait a long time before using Conroe, and I never understand why. Ooh, that's kind of annoying. The Neoflame there is actually really annoying. That's gonna get rid of my Karen. Luckily, I can call it out with Maka. And for the time being, it's kind of okay, I'm not as bothered. But that's a good way to counteract my aggression, too. Well done by my opponent. Very well done by my opponent. But I know a lot of you guys like the Brawler deck and fight. That first game of that deck and fight was definitely very intense, so I'm glad that people liked it. I definitely enjoyed recording it too. Okay, let's see. Does he hit a heal? No. Okay, Grom, that... I'm assuming this is Blade Master then, actually. If Grom is in there, then this is probably Blade Master. Alright, let's go into Blaster Dark. Diablo, sadly, no ride animation. Yeah, it's just... that's just it. That's just it, sadly. That's just it. So, if I put a grade 3 down, there's a chance it's not going to get popped. Because he's in a first stride, and probably just, like, kill my intercept, right? So I'm going to, like, put down the Maka, knowing fully well that she's going to get checked. I'm at 3 with 1 heal guard in hand, so I hope I don't get rolled. I don't think he plays crits, so I shouldn't be getting rolled, I hope. I sincerely hope and I pray. Luckily, also with Orgeyser, we get to, you know, go through more of our decks, so we can actually try and find our PGs that way. Honestly, even drawing into heal guards isn't too bad. Okay, right, Blade Master. And so he gets the first try, probably Mustafa, but then he doesn't have extra CB, so I'm glad I pushed only 1 damage here, because that means... oh, he might go for the... oh, Mahmoud. Oh, this way you can pop the grade 3. Ah, that's so annoying. He finds a way. He finds a way every time, you know? This guy just finds a way. Okay, well, that's alright. Gonna swing face, and then gonna push me to 5, and also take out my grade 3. We do heal, which is good. I'm thankful. You know, it's just like Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for my heal triggers. Alright, PG check, that's important data, and a draw. The draw doesn't matter as much here. Third check is a heal, though. Ay-yi-yi-yi-yi. That's 2 out, though. And if he plays Blade Master, that means he plays the Great, which isn't great for me. Alright, we are... man, my man is taking out all of my resources over here. Claret has been drawn. I do want to hold it in hand because I might need it. We're gonna go into Orgeyser. It's always a first stride. It's just a very good first stride. And then second stride is like either Doomed or Diablo, depending on how much you've pushed. Alright. Orgeyser Dragon. Another Claret. We could call this one down, actually. This one we can call down. It is tempting to put the Stride Fodder down as well to, like, try and call down a Karen for later. Because I could call down a Karen and then get rid of it immediately. And this way protect the David, because the David won't get popped in this matchup, which makes it a little bit more resilient, which I think is the play here. I'm not going to use Branwen here. We're going to swing rear. I think we're going to swing with the Makka here. Swing Makka, call out the Karen, and then get rid of the Karen immediately. Literally just like thinning deck. Just kind of thinning out the deck to make sure that we hit the heals a bit more consistently at this point. Because we're down to 19 cards. He hits a draw, which is fine. I don't play crits, so he's going to just go to 4 regardless this turn. And this way I can just kind of pop this. It'll count as 2 units because we're on a Blaster grade 3 or greater. And that's going to be a Persona Ride. And let's see what we add to hand. Please be 2 PGs. Nope. Well, that means we might heal, I hope. Or not. Oi! Oi! Where the heals at, dude? Come on, man. I might just be dead now. I might genuinely just be dead. Because if he goes into anything, like Blade Master just, you know, pops my intercept. I have 1 heal guard in hand. Unless he, like, doesn't go for anything offensive. I'm pretty sure I'm dead no matter what. Like, he gets 2 attacks in on me, and I'm just like, wiped. Big boy wiped. Yeah, not finding any PGs or, like, you know, just playing with 1 heal guard in hand this whole game has been pretty detrimental, let's say. So at this point, yeah, he's gonna wipe out that. Huh. My man is bullying me, dude. Okay, well, that's not gonna be heal guardable unless we heal out of this somehow. The PG's going to damage also really doesn't help here. I'm gonna just say this is a GG. A very quick clap, too. A very quick, you know, my man just clapped his hands together and obliterated me over here. So, unfortunately, don't find the heals, don't find the PGs. That's just gonna be how your games are gonna go, right? Unless we heal. Nope, just a 3 PG. That's a great way to rub salt into the wound. Fantastic start. Alright. Ooh, damn, we got the wedding match. Let's go. Alright, you guys get to also see some Silverthorns. Man, I've been playing with Silverthorns, and after the, you know, the little bit of Pale Moon support we got, it just felt a little shaky, not gonna lie. It feels like I'm just not the right player for the deck. You see, you'd think I'd learned from my last game. I kind of want to hold the PG, but I don't literally have no grade 3s. And I don't trust the main to draw me that well. We found a Claret. That's a grade 3, but not the one I want. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. Like, also this main might be a little bit copium. We're going first, which is nice. We draw into PG and another Claret, so that's not too bad. Let's go into the Stride Fodder without much hesitation. I don't have any grade 1s to call down this time around, so we might just have to, like, call David here and, like, try to make a column out of the Out of the main. Just see how it goes. Just see how it goes. Alright. So it's gonna be Silver Thorns. I think it's pretty nice. You know, we get the enemy fight. The enemy fights. You know, Lukier Stride is out. It's the one of the one of two Lukier Strides. I'm pretty sure there's only two. There's Mystique and there's the Venus one. But then there's also like a whole bunch of like really good Silverthorn support in G, like later down the line, like towards the, I guess like 3/4 into G, I would say, like 2/3, 3/4, something along those lines. Ooh, here comes out, very nice. That's the beautiful ranked reward art that I worked so hard for. Another Curse Line, so we can ride the SP1 and try to hit hit a whatchamacallit, Karen. Oh my god, it's so tricky. I guess we're gonna put down the Claret here and just try to draw into something good. Please. Alright, Nemain-chan. Ooh, we got it. Sweet. Perfect. In that case, we just swing. If we get a trigger, we hit second damage. If we don't, then it's fine. Like, we just put up a 5k to, like, not get bum rushed by, not Dorian. Dorian is a V-Series Silverthorn that broke the game. The one that broke the game here is Marichka. I guess technically it's more so Zelma, right? Zelma's the one that really made Silverthorns pop off. I think before Zelma, Silverthorns were good, but they really popped off after Zelma, I would say. Alright, well, Marichka, here she is. It's time to take some damage, I guess. So what's gonna be Dragon into rear? Yep, Marichka into face. What will she... I guess we just call anything to make the Dragon hit for a better number. We hit a draw, which is nice. Another main, which will be really good for this turn for me too. This way I can basically, like... Ryan Buster Dark, swing it into rear, call the main, swing that into rear, and then swing Curse Lancer into face to get the counter charge back, which is really nice. Okay, this is probably going to call out something for back row, or will he call out an intercept just to like tank off my turn? I feel like Irina, if he has it in soul, is a better call. Is it Irina? No, it's Dragon, but for next turn. Okay, that's fine. He pushed me to 3 because that's what Silverthorns do. I feel like Silverthorns, every time my opponent plays it, it's like, whoa, what a good deck. And then I try to play and I'm like, I don't remember how to do anything. I literally don't remember how to do anything with that deck. It is crazy. Crazy, dude. I guess I don't need the 12k attacker right now. I feel like I will later on and I might regret this, but for now we're gonna drop it. Drop it. Alright. Draw 2 into a Heal Guard and a Stride Fodder. We are going to call Curse Lancer, not Maka, and get swangin'. We actually hit for nice numbers because we can swing this into rear, Curse Lancer into Van, and then this into Van because it's 14. So if he doesn't hit a defensive, we still hit, which is pretty swouse. Alright, that hits. Very nice. 3. We're on 3. Our opponent's going to be on 3 unless we heal here, which I doubt we will. At least this time around we have more defensive options. That's also kind of what keeps Silverthorns a bit more in check, is that you do have more defensive options in the game now. You know, you have Heal Guardians, you have PGs. Oh, I mean, you have Heal Guardians, right? That's the... Heal Guards, rather. I always feel awkward saying Heal Guardians because that's an actual thing in the TCG. That's not what it is in Zero. Heal Guards are what they call these ones. Alright, Mystique Lukier. So beautiful. One of the best arts, by the way. There's so many arts that the Lukier artist draws in the TCG that, like, people forget. Like, there's a random Keter Sanctuary Grade 1 that's coming out in set 4 in February in English. And there's like it's just a random Grade 1. It's not even a good card, but it's drawn by Lukier's artist. And, like, people don't seem to realize it, I guess. I always thought that, like, you know... There's some artists that have a lot of fans, like Daisuke Izuka, Lack. Like, for me, one of my favorite illustrators that sadly hasn't done anything for Vanguard is Hidari. So Hidari, he drew the art for Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. And he's also drawn art for other stuff like the Atelier series. And, you know, like, that's like a really big fave illustrator of mine. Or like Masami Obari, you know, like Fuzi Choko. But I feel like Lukier's artists... People love Lukier, but then they kind of don't look at the other stuff as much, and like this artist has drawn so many beautiful pieces. Like, there's some really cool knights that they've drawn too that just look super sick. Like, their colors, and like especially like the kind of like the way they make the colors pop in a way, like especially with Lukier, it's like the red on the eyes, you know, it's like those effect colors, I guess you can call them, that pop super hard. Now we check a very beautiful heal. My opponent went for a Marichka, we've got a Zelma, the dragon's not hitting anymore, so that's good for me. This field is kind of annoying though. I can't really push. Or I can push, but I have like one Maka that can kind of do that. And I don't have like grade 1s and stuff to make columns with. And Orgai's just swing face and he checks a heal. And this means the dragon is going to like hit, which is not cool. You know, even if I hit a defensive, it's still going to hit, which is very not cool. By the way. Alright, we're at 5 again. Boy, I wonder how things are gonna go from here. We have like one heal in deck, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Okay, we keep drawing PGs at least, that's good. Like that I'm pretty thankful for. Surely we draw into pieces, right? Copium? Right? Give me like a domain or something. Give me a domain, please. Please, 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 please. Or Claret. Mr. Claret. I was expecting you, Mr. Claret. Okay, we cannot use Maka here because we have to swing face with Orgeyser. It doesn't let you swing rear, which is unfortunate. So we just kind of have to pop the David. Pop Monsieur Davide. And that's just how it is. Alright. Can I get into the Phantom Blaster Stride this game, please? May I please have the permission to go to the Phantom Blaster Stride? Just to show off the power. You know, it's funny, I was playtesting this deck on stream like a couple days ago. And I was like, going on about how copium it is. And then I just like kept winning games and I was like, oh, maybe it's not that copium, maybe it'll be fine for the video. And now it's like super not fine. Cause I'm at like 5. And I'm like, I got like 4 defensives to work with, but like, you know. Like Doomed is a better stride. Actually no, like in Diablo, Doomed is an okay stride, but it's like if your opponent only passes on 1 intercept, then Diablo just like, plus like Diablo takes care of it already. So that's a bit different. Alright. Another mistake look here. I mean, the other Pale Moon Stride only is an on hit, so you don't ever go into that when your opponent's at 5, right? Alright, we're both quite thin on deck size, which is... I mean, I've been drawing a fair bit, I guess, and like plussing from Orgeyser in the main, and my opponent's just been soul charging. 7 cards in soul is quite a lot for Silver Thorns when you think about it, right? And he's gonna do it again here. Like, this soul charges 2, so you go down to 10, and then drive checks... I mean, if he doesn't check triggers, then that's a different story, but he's seen 6 out of 9 draws, nice. Only 1 heal, that's a little bit alarming. How many like, I'm still taking 3 to the face, which is alarming. This is still CB1. I remember one of the, like, the nerf options was to make this CB2. And then something was like, oh, he only has 1 CB, you can't use it. I was like, oh wait, no, that's not how the nerf went. That's not how the nerf went! Mr. Krabs! I'm assuming he swings Vanguard here first. If you go Vanguard first, you get to do some nasty stuff, I guess. Oh no, okay. I feel like you want to buff the other column to hit over Heal Guard, but instead I'll double Heal Guard this and then PG, which is fine, I guess. That's alright. Draw, down to 8 cards, so if I hit him twice here, it goes down to 6, draws into 5, but I don't know if I can farm enough. I think I have like 1 PG left in deck and 1 Heal Guard. If I can draw into them, that'd be great, but I kind of doubt it. 12k. Okay, grade 2s are coming by, which is nice. Can I make a Maka? I think I can make a Maka. Alright, let's go into Phantom Blaster. It is time. You can see, whoa, look at this. Grade +5, what a crazy stride fodder, dude. The thing is, I need to keep the grade 1 in hand. I'm gonna put the Diablo down. Like, the Diablo isn't... You don't need more than 1 copy at any point. Okay, stride into Phantom Blaster Diablo. Alright. Another stride fodder. Alright, Marichka, you're gonna go. You're gonna get plopped. Nice animation. You can activate the skill first, Combos 1, and G Persona for the tank and the crit. So that this way, we can swing in. So what I'm going to do is swing 12k into the rear, and then swing with the Maka column first to call out the Karen, and then the Karen will basically give me the enough like stuff to retire for this effect, and then he has to Persona, or like he has to drop a grade 3 to guard this, which you might still have, you might not, I don't know. You know, we're gonna bank on that Hopium, you know? 2022, I'm done with the Copium, dude. I've quit Copium. I'm all about that Hopium from now on. That's just how I roll these days, you know? Theoretically, could have made another attack, but it doesn't matter when I'm swinging with crit and, like, guard pressure. So it's like, unless you can make, like, 2 more attacks, it doesn't really matter that much. Alright. Let's retire US2, and then retire the Claret. My heart is, like, beating really fast for some reason. I'm a little bit nervous here. Come on, we have 1 heal in deck. Yes! It popped! It popped! It popped! Mother! Oh my god, no, not the double heal guard, man! A double heal guard? For real, for real? For real, gang? Damn. Alright, well, all my heals are out and he knows it. You have 1 PG and a prayer. 1 PG and a prayer, he has 1 CBs, up to 6 cards in damage. This Marichka makes attacks. How many does she make? Only one more. Only 1 CB, so only 1 more. 4 cards in deck. Hold up. I'm on the Copium again. I mean, I'm on the hopium. Only hopium enjoyers in this channel. I'm done with the copium. Copium is 2021. Hopium is 2022. We strive for a greater future, you know? That's what striding is all about, you know? It's all about the new future and the new possibilities. The wonders of life. Okay. Silverthorns didn't get an emergency support card that says when called from Soul, call another Silverthorn from Soul. No, my PG, please come back. That's not nice. Dude, don't do that. I think it's Diablo time, baby. It's Diablo time, and we just like swing 3 times to face and try to win, right? Oh, Diablo-kun. Diablo-kun, give me the copium. I'm seeking it as we speak. Okay, what kind of attacks can I make? The grade 3 is really important. I need some way to like hit a number. Oh my god, I have so many cards that don't hit numbers in this hand. Do I have Blast of Dark still in deck? I have Claret still in deck. This I need for the double. What if we draw PG? We can't live anyway. There's no way I can live with 1 PG. What I'm thinking is, whatever I draw from this, I use the grade 3 Searcher to filter out the Claret just to make 18k columns. Does that make sense, or am I going insane? I'm gonna do it. I think this is my only out. Like, I don't have another way. I'm dropping the PG. I don't give it. I don't care, man. PB Diablo will bring me victory. Okay, it wasn't necessary. It's fine, though. It's fine, dude. Don't worry about it, bro. Like, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it, dude. It's fine. It's cool. Alright. We got the numbers. We got the cool stuff going on. I'm thinking... I could have made this board better. I don't care about the CC because I'm going to die anyway. We swing. We swing and we believe. If he checks a draw, I think I just win off the deck out. Alright, that's cool. Let's get that heal guard out. Or should I... Wait, how many triggers do I have left? I have 1, so it swings for 21. It's still heal guard range. Let's get it out. Or give me the PG. Okay, heal guard is out. Heal guard is out. Heal guard is out. Junk Synchron! Come on, please. I'm begging. I'm begging. Please, Nemain, okay. Okay, Branwen, okay. Draw, fine. It's okay. Please, God. No, damn it! I gave it my all. I gave it my all. No, and he has 2 cards in deck. Would I have survived if I didn't drop the PG? I probably would have survived. I was like, thing is, if we drew the Cursed Lancer, it's cool, right? But I was literally banking, like, I was afraid I would draw the Nemain and not be able to make a 16k column, and then not be able to hit over the defensive, right? That was my logic there. The logic was that I would draw garbage, because I always do. I would draw Nemain. Like, thing is, we had so many bad draw targets, right? We could have drawn into another Branwen, drawn into a Nemain, drawn into... What else did we drive check there? Or, like, whatever else we had there. Oh, and you can use Venus' skill here to actually, like, make a board. So even if I had the PG, I would still die. Wait. Oh, well, for a second I thought you used a starter. I was like, hold up. That would have been cool. But now we just... Okay, so even if I had the PG, I still would have lost. That's okay. That's okay. I don't feel as bad about that. And he has perfectly enough cards in deck, too. That's insane. That's pretty good game. Pretty good game. We got to go into Phantom Blaster Diablo twice. And, do what we could. Do what we could. Try our best with Mr. Diablo. Like, some questionable plays for sure. But that's just what you gotta do with this deck sometimes, you know? You just gotta make the questionable plays, otherwise, you know, your game state is gonna be questionable and it's just gonna be over, you know? GG, 6 damage and you're dead. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, for once, you know, it's been a while since we've had that, but that last game was close. The first game was a complete blowout. We barely got to show off anything. But that second game, you know, we got to show some of the things that Diablo can do, but... I wasn't kidding when I said this deck is a little bit copium, you know. It's not as strong. Like, we're gonna do Claret soon. And it's gonna feel better just because Claret is allowed to play 9 crit, because it pluses that much. You saw there, like, you saw throughout the games, like, this deck pluses a lot, but you're still low in hand because, like, you're retiring all the time, like, you have to, like, fund your own costs all the time and stuff like that. Whoa, local man resizes game. Sorry, I accidentally just, like, slid my my window there. But yeah, it's like, sadly, like, I think these games really showed the sort of weaknesses of the deck, and that's why, like, Diablo will get better in the future once Spectral Diablo comes out, because Spectral Diablo is actually a pretty good stride. It's a restander, so it's automatically pretty decent. But for the time being, like, you can pick up the parts, have the Blaster Dark Diablos, you know, get yourself a pair at least of, like, Phantom Blaster Diablos, because you can play 2 in every single Shadow Paladin deck, and the other Shadow Paladin decks are better, but, like, it's better to put the G zone onto Revengers, or, you know, and like enjoy the deck like that because they'll be really, really strong, then try to kind of like make your way through with Diablos, because Diablos, it's cool, but it's been nerfed so hard that it feels like it doesn't really do enough right now, and that's just sort of where things are at. So hopefully you still enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed, you know, seeing the deck in action. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for it, and part of the reason why I haven't really uploaded it for so long is because it's just, you know, it's kind of the reality is that the deck currently is not very good and it needs its support. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate everyone that watched. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. We're getting close to 50k, so I do need your guys' support. But otherwise, that's gonna be it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.